Do you measure learning outcomes in your company?
I think we measure learning outcomes by results, and that's not just financial results. That's also retention. I think retaining your best employees, making sure that you're developing them. In order for people to be able to move up and across an organization, they have to learn, and so you have to be able to not only give them the opportunity, but they also need to prove that they've got the appetite and the aptitude to engage and to be able to learn. So I think you measure that outcome through the things that you measure in terms of your business performance, however you measure that. But you also look at we do employee engagement surveys twice a year to understand how engaged our team is, and we find that the more we invest in learning, whether it's an informal brown bag lunch or it's actually a formal interviewing, here's how to do job interviewing, helps people feel more engaged with the organization and brings those scores up. So those are the ways that we measure.
But there's a lot of companies who do employee engagement surveys. Mm-hmm. And from the employee's perspective, a lot of feedback I get from employees is, the company doesn't really mean it, the CEO doesn't really mean it. Mm-hmm. It's just a check the box exercise.
Sure.
How do you show your team
well, it's interesting because we get the engagement surveys, and after a couple of years, we kind of see some of the same comments coming in. And sometimes, I do quarterly town halls with the team, and I'll put it up there and say, tell me what would help here. We really are taking it seriously, and I get it. I think that there's always some element of that, but I think the way you deal with it is you share the results honestly, and you talk about your reaction to those results. I've gotten up and said, frankly, I can't understand this, so we're gonna, we've brought in employee teams to be focus groups on ways to sort of improve communication across the organization. That's a big one we get on our engagement survey, and I think it's because the organization, as it grows, the things that build cross-company communication in sort of form over time, unless you take a formal approach to it, and the more your organization gets spread apart, the harder it is to sort of naturally assume that communication will occur. So I think you take it seriously. You try and point out, this was something that came in from the engagement survey. Here's what we did about it, and here's your response to it. We try to measure that as well. And when we try and it doesn't work, we're honest about it. That's all you really can do, I think. I think the worst thing you can do is put an engagement survey out there, give people or any kind of survey, give people the expectation that something's going to change, and then nothing changes. So I think you need to be able to demonstrate that there has been change, or at least an effort. Some things you can't do that employees may ask you to do. We had employees ask if we could put treadmills in the office, and there's all these different things that came with that in terms of space and in terms of other people wouldn't like the treadmills, and there's insurance for all these things. So, but we at least explained why we couldn't do it as part of the response, because we did get that kind of input.